And with that, we want to welcome you to City National Arena in Las Vegas. It is UNLV Rebel Hockey here tonight against Missouri State. Stephen Marsh filling in again for Dana Lane, who's away this week, and I'm also again joined by the Rebel Insider, Matt Atencio. And Matt, UNLV winning an important game yesterday against Missouri State. What are the keys to tonight for Rebels to win again?
Well, so for the keys for tonight's game, two of them remain the same. Obviously, they need to get to the front of the net. Last night, Missouri State was doing a really good job of keeping them to the outside, and when the Rebels were eventually able to get inside, they put 3 goals in the net. Also, they need to protect the puck. They were doing a good job of that last night, too. Only one of the goals that the Missouri State had came off of a turnover. The biggest key for tonight's game, though, is going to be to weather the storm early. Listen, we made a big deal last night about how Missouri State was coming off of the 22 hours of travel. That's not the case tonight. This is a rested team, and they know that they did not play their best game last night, so they're going to come out hard, and it's important for the Rebels to weather that storm early and not get down early. Yeah, Griffin's coming in and replacing Bailey Stevens from last night as well. He had a good game. Stevens did. Now we have a new goaltender in that. He's 2-1 on the season with a 3 goals against average and a .905 save percentage. So it should be an interesting game coming up tonight.
I just realized my mic was off again for that, so let me go through that again. Ross, McGowan, Kutsagiannis started. Of course, by now there's different players in, so who cares at this point? Anyways, we're going to be another one of those nights. Erickson dumps it down, and Estrada fighting it with it, but now Rebels have it. This is Manning with it. A shot, and he just flings it over the net and goes over to the other side. Missouri State will get it out. I did want to mention, in case Matt did touch on it, because the goaltending change for Missouri State. They were going with Griffin tonight. That is important to note. Stevens was great last night, gave up 3 goals, but was still strong. Has faced a lot of Rebel shots, and we have a whistle here.
Wixon with an early save there on Jacob Wietop, who he had the first goal for Missouri State last night. That's a name we're going to be talking about quite a bit. He's now tied for the lead in points on the team.
He is 17, and he's in the lineup again, as you mentioned. Will be a name we'll be hearing a lot of tonight as the Rebels coming out strong here, but Missouri State will get a hold of it. Thought it was Gallant. Missouri State, as we said, are going to be fighting hard to try to get a win to go home as Demizio controls it around center ice. Demizio brings it through, has to feed off a check. Demizio falls. Puck is loose. Again, we're just underway here. Rebels coming up strong now as Mazzullo. He'll dump it down, and they're going to say that's icing as he did not get across center ice. So that's going to be an icing call. I don't think Demizio agreed with that, but and something a little behind the action here is Burke and going at it a little bit there with Kopinski. You wonder how that will develop as we go along, these two teams, how second game of a 2-game set, and Missouri State wanting to win, and UNLV, of course, wanting to win again, of course, defend their home ice.
Yeah, and Luke Burke's one of those guys that's not afraid to kind of mix it up down there after the whistle. So that's going to be one thing we're going to have to keep our eye on tonight.
All right, as we mentioned, it was an icing call, so the faceoff will go back down to the UNLV zone as Missouri State will control it. Missouri State down low, going to feed it behind the net. Back to the point now. Right, a block. Shot didn't make that. It's a nice block there by Wyatt. Wyatt coming in with Max Johnson, who had a goal yesterday in the first game of this series. And, of course, has had a few goals for UNLV this year. That one goes in! It's a goal! And UNLV gets on the board first. 1-0, Rebels.
Yeah, that's just a great shot there by Alec Johnson, who I believe is going to get credit with that goal there. Just kind of turned into a knuckle puck and somehow jumped the pad of Matt Griffin. And now it's 1-0 Rebels, that's the start they were looking for.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a weird one. That one kind of went in, and it is the day before Halloween, Matt. So
I mean, they all count the same way.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how you get them. At the end of the day, it counts as a goal on the.
Absolutely, absolutely. Here come the Rebels again, bringing it through. We'll wait on the official call for that, but we do believe it is Alec Johnson. And a hard hit there, and we're gonna have a penalty here. Down goes Slafulos pretty hard on that hit, and he's still down. And of course, number 20, that is Brosset, is going to get the penalty for that. So here comes the trainer, one of the trainers for UNLV, and we hope that Slafulos will be okay.
Yeah, it was just a hard, high hit along the boards.
A hard hit, but definitely a penalty, and that's going to be. So we'll wait on that. I love it. So it's so quiet in here for a minute, man. I just heard an exchange between one of the officials and telling one of the Missouri State players that he's like he'd be so great at this job. It is interesting that sometimes, everyone thinks everyone can do the referees' jobs, but the referees do a good job. It's true. You don't always agree with a call and stuff, but it's a matter of how you handle it. But that was a penalty, and UNLV's going to get a power play out of this, Matt, so we're going to get a chance to see the Rebels on the power play, and it looks like one of their top power play units going to be out there to start this power play.
Yeah, this is like I kept saying last night, this is another big opportunity. Early penalty to Missouri State. Good chance for the Rebels to take a big lead here.
And look who's out there. Alex Johnson, Erickson, Max Johnson, DeMizio, their top guys. Trying to make it a 2-0 lead already early on here, but make it even more of put more pressure on Missouri State. The puck is loose in the crease. And can Missouri State get it out? No, they cannot. Alex Johnson does a good job of bringing it down with his hand. Feeds it over to Wyatt. Wyatt, shot to Erickson, but just misses the net. Wyatt gets it back.
That was a great deflection there by Erickson. He just puts it wide, though.
Blonsky getting an assist on that goal, by the way. Oh, and Wyatt, sorry. Wyatt getting the assist. Blonsky getting the assist on that goal by Johnson. Well, everybody's aware of that. Puck does clear it out, and fresh bodies out from Missouri State. As Max Johnson bringing it through. Alec Johnson getting it to Max Johnson. Malone, the puck, nice play there by 91 from Missouri State. Witter to break up that play. Rebels keeping it in. They're doing a good job of the offensive zone pressure, and Alec Johnson kind of whiffed on that one. Didn't get all of that one.
Just kind of healed that puck there right at the very end.
But the Rebels doing a good job. The power goes to the crease, and it doesn't quite make it in. Mazzillo gets it back again, keeping the pressure on Missouri State with some tired bodies out there as they've having to be down and playing defense this whole time. Mazzillo, Alec Johnson fires it, misses the net, and that's going to clear out, and that should give a chance for Missouri State to get some fresh bodies. A well-needed change for Missouri State there with 18 seconds left on the power play for UNLV.
Yeah, really good pressure there from UNLV power play. Just they need to try to get to the center of the ice there. Missouri State knows that they want to get that puck around Alec Johnson to rip one-timers from the left face-off circle. They're just not letting him do it.
Power play about to be over, and down goes 6.
It's going to be a
Kapkovic.
penalty on UNLV here.
Yeah, and Kapkovic hurting a little bit, but he'll be okay, I'm sure. But it is going to be a Missouri State power play, so this is an opportunity for Missouri State to get back in this game with the power play.
Brendan Manning's going to get called for the trip there.
So strong, big penalty kill here for UNLV. You get an early lead, you don't want to give up one. Right, well, there's a turnover here. This could be a 2-on-2 developing here. Nope, blocked play there. 90 goes down. So, Gallant. Rebels fighting with it here. Puck at the circle. Good talk. We have a whistle now saying it's a hand pass. Hand pass, so that'll blow the play dead. And now the Rebels are officially, so we set her on the penalty kill.
Well, as we've been saying, this is a big moment here for the penalty killers of UNLV. You really don't want to give up a goal in this situation. You've been controlling the pace of play for the first 5 minutes. Really have Missouri State on their heels right now. Really don't want to give them any chance to get back into this game.
Absolutely, and now here comes a shot in by Missouri State, and they score. And just like that, it's tied up 1-1 with a power play goal by the Ice Bears.
Yeah, it was just a turnover at the offensive blue line right there. They skate in, they get a partial breakaway headed in, ended up knocking it in on the rebound. It's tied 1-1.
We'll see who got that goal. I think it might have been 71. He was kind of in the leading of that line that they always do when they score, and they fist pump their team bench. So we'll see if he does get credited with the goal, and that would be Evan Ross, but we'll wait on that. So it is Ross's goal from Bratton. Bratton getting the assist on the Ross goal. So we're tied up 1-1. They still have the penalty on the board, but that is not correct, obviously. That should be off the board, but it's... So I believe it's full strength. Yeah, I see 5 players out there. Okay. Again. So we'll ignore that 50 seconds on there, but... there we go. We got a stop there by Wixon. Few lineup changes for Missouri State. They do not have some of their players that played last night. No Brandon Baldwin, although he didn't play the whole weekend. Didn't make the trip. No Cody Flawn. He got hurt a little bit in that third period of last night's game. And he had an assist last night, so no Flawn, no Tommy Raymer, no Derek Smith, and no Noah Maltainer for Missouri State tonight. Talking with the assistant coach for Missouri State, Cliff Cook, before the game, they said they're starting their other goaltending, but they feel they have 2 really good goaltenders, really a 1A and a 1B. And so Stevens has been the hot guy to this point. Lost last night, so they're going to give their other goaltender now a chance. And, of course, he's already given up 1, but has certainly made some good saves early on as well. So that puck comes out, and the Ice Bears control it. Mark Kapkovic now down, and that will be icing. So the faceoff will come down into the Missouri State end. Well, 1-1. Both teams have gotten a goal on the power play. And so, I don't know, maybe UNLV's wasn't a power play goal, but 1-1. And we got a face-off here.
Yeah, we look back at it. I mean, and ever since that goal, it really looks like Missouri State's kind of woken up in this game, too.
Yeah. UNLV had a power play, didn't score on the power play, but they had a goal before that. Anyways, we'll get it right one of these days. Burke, Mizio fighting through it there with number 8, Hopkins. Now the puck is loose, down along. That one hits off the glass, and it'll trickle a little bit.
UNLV had some room there for that shot. It just skirted right over the top of the net.
Nice shot there by 15 there, David Lenzen. As the Rebels controlling it, here's a shot here by Malone, just goes over the net. Back to get it is Quinn. Now it's Burke. Burke to DeMizio, but that one doesn't get much on that. Is Missouri State player doing a good job of getting on that one. You can definitely tell Missouri State has the energy of all of a sudden way further along in this game than they were yesterday. Obviously, as Matt mentioned before the game, was able to rest and not have to spend a night in a hotel room and have all that going for them. So a little bit more rested.
Yeah, that was a really good shift there by the Rebels' third line. They weren't able to get any shots on net.
Well, Wyatt's going to try to put a shot, but Missouri State blocks it. Rebels keeping it in. The captain for Missouri State tried to get it, Hunter Cooley, but he'll have to come back into the play. As the Rebels, again, doing a good job of keeping the pressure down in the offensive zone. Hasn't led to a goal at this point yet. And there's a save there by the goaltender Griffin. But another good offensive zone time for the Rebels.
Yeah, they're having great shifts in the offensive zone right now. They're keeping Missouri State kind of honest. The issue is they're just not getting any shots on net. All the shots are either getting blocked or they're going high.
Yeah, I think that's probably a game plan that Missouri State had, was that get more bodies on the puck, and they're doing that and keeping a lot of the we had 40, I think about 40 shots last night, and so that's a shot there. Mazzullo on the left circle, or from my left. Missouri State with it. Levi Wright, he takes it out, and that puck going to go down, but won't be icing as the Rebels will get to it. Shots evened up 6-6.
It was really good to see Salafas back out there after that big hit that he took.
Yeah, that is good to see that. Salafalos out there back again as Missouri State has it. Right, controlling it down, trying to find another man to pass it to, and that's McGowan. That one will go behind. It's Wixon to play it. Missouri State with an opportunity there as Wixon has had to make a couple of big saves. Mazzullo to try to get it out. Rebels do get it out. Missouri State with it again, though. Bringing it in is Noah Bruss. Puck will come out. Missouri State with it. But trying to get a turnover. Nice little hard check there. Nice little checking game has been high. Rebels bringing it in. A shot there by Gallant. Doesn't get all of it off. Now the Missouri State picking up. Just the action in this game is really night and day better than what it was yesterday. Down Rebel fans like that as number 15 goes down, Jared Bratton. And here come the Rebels now. Rebels bringing it through Estrada. Estrada finds Plonsky. Plonsky just fires it just to the left of the net. And Missouri State will bring it down and they'll clear it out. Good action here as the Rebels trying to bring it through, try to string it to Erickson. It's off the stick. Erickson, though, is doing behind the net.
Really good job by Erickson there not to give up on that play. He's not able to get it at the offensive blue line, but he still is able to get in there and kind of negate the icing and still kind of try to get the shot on net there.
Yeah, and Missouri State doing a good job, too, of putting their stick on that last pass and keeping it from going as Missouri State will dump it down. Shakes. And now we have a whistle as Wixon hangs on to the puck with 9:19 left in the period number 1. Well, as we mentioned, this is a big game for UNLV because they're going to go on the road, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But, you know, we talk about the WCHL standings. UNLV, of course, now with 11 points, and Missouri State at 18. So UNLV can win this game. They'll be 14 points, and Missouri State will still be at 18 if it's a regulation win. Of course, you want to get that auto bid into the national tournament. Still a lot of season left, of course, but this is the only time left that you're going to play this team. So.
Yeah, just like you said, a lot of time left in this season, but you still want to try to build up a big point bank right now, so you're not having to make up ground later in the season.
And of course, UNLV's had a very home-heavy schedule, which means they're going to have a lot of road games coming up. So that's going to be important too. So definitely UNLV wants to defend home ice, and Rebels will be offsides if they touch it, and they did, and so that'll force the whistle.
Manning had a really good look there again. As I mentioned, they need to get to the blue paint. They're getting some chances down low. It's just the shots are either going wide, they're getting blocked, they're getting their sticks tied up. But still, that's what you want to see. Not everything's going to happen every time.
Yep. All right. Puck rings around behind the net. Demizio doing a good job, but now Missouri State with it. A turnover here, though, as the Rebels keep fighting good pressure on with Burke. Burke takes it back to the blue line. Burke with the shot in the center, and a save there by Griffin. But again, the Rebels applying the pressure.
This third line early's been really good at producing a lot of offensive zone pressure for the Rebels right now.
So 8:14 left in period number 1. I think we're going to see a change here. Of course, the Rebels are the home team, so they get the last change, and that's always sometimes an advantage that you have. You want to get the right matchups out there, especially an offensive zone draw. But the puck does get out, and will go down the length of the ice as the Rebels control it behind their own net. Rebels going to try to spring out here. Feeds it to Johnson, and Johnson takes it down. But now the puck loosened behind the Down low, and Salafalos brings it back. Wyatt, but that puck was fluttering and hard to really gain control of it. Now he does, and that one will be turned over as Missouri State with it. But Wyatt keeping his body on it, keeping it in for the moment, but now it clears out. And 7:30 remaining. 1-1 score. Shots evened up as well, 8-8. Missouri State will put the puck down back in UNLV end. Get a couple of fresh changes. That's Kapinski now feeds it to Kramer. Rebels trying to break free, and they do. Here comes Burke. Burke is passed to Malone, but didn't quite get it.
Just out of Malone's reach right there.
Yeah.
And room on the back door wide open, just can't quite connect with the puck.
Yeah, he's got the speed, but he's a little bit of a smaller dude, so maybe his reach isn't quite as big as other players would be, but he makes up for it in other ways for sure. That puck comes out, so Polonsky will have to play as the Rebels will have to reset it behind the blue line. And they do, but Missouri State now with it. Missouri State bringing it through. Hopkins. Now the puck loosened behind over by the circle. Rebels trying to get it free here. A little bit of chase here, but Missouri State will get to it. That would be Noah Bruss. Let's say Rebels get it back. They'll fling it down. Feelig and 20. Noah Bruss shrugging off a big hit by Feelig. Now there's a battle for it. The puck will be loosened behind the net. Missouri State will get a hold of it. Kopinski. Kopinski now Noah Bruss. And Rebels with it now. This is back and forth action. As each team is trying to, get the possession game going here, and Rebels get it back. Jared Erickson feeds it to Manning. Manning brings it in. Manning tried to fight it to Erickson, who was trying to get, or that was not Erickson, Estrada, excuse me. That was ahead of all the play, but a little too quick on that. Now Manning feeds it to Erickson. Erickson, a piece of that, gets Griffin, and he goes and covers it up. Rebels had a chance there, but Griffin gets the save.
Yeah, just kind of a little pass off the half wall there from Estrada to Erickson, and Erickson just puts it right back through the crease.
That one. Okay, we're down to 4:51 to go in the first period. A couple of early goals, but since then nothing, as teams have kind of settled down a little bit. The Rebels, that's Barry. That one is going to the bench and out of play. So we'll face off back in the Missouri State zone. There to take it will be Wheatop against Max Johnson, and Missouri State will win the face-off, and we'll be able to get the puck out. And we'll go down. It'll be icing, but no, it won't be because goaltender played it, Wixon. Rebels now have it. And the Rebels trying to get it to the, now they have to set it back in their own end for a moment. So they'll try to set up things up. Johnson, Salafalos. Salafalos brings it in as a drop pass. Tried to feed the Salafalos, but a save by Griffin on that one. As now tied up as 18 and 37. That's McGowan and Quinn. But
it's a really good give and go there. Good play right there. Just Griffin just gets over and makes the save in enough time. It was a great opportunity though for the Rebels.
Yep, and now Max Johnson trying to break free. Max Johnson. Fire Across the net, but not in. Burke. Puck will be loose, and puck is kind of bouncing around a little bit, and now the Rebels will settle it down. And we'll take it behind the net to try to set things up here and break out their full possession here. We'll go the length of the ice. It's DeMizio. Fires that around. Now Missouri State, if they hurry, they might have some odd man rush here. As 88 is shot, and that one hits off the glass. As
that was a great recovery by Burke there on the back check. He gets a stick on that shot enough time. I believe that was Wheatop that had that shot. He was wide open.
Yeah, now puck kind of skitters down, and Missouri State will play it. As Malone is there to keep Wright in line, and Wright has it. Rebels turn. It's the turnover. A shot and a save by Griffin. Another chance. It's the center side of the net. As Gallant had a chance there.
Great save there by Griffin.
And the Rebels still have an opportunity as Lenzen feeds it to Johnson. Johnson, another save by Griffin. Gallant, as Missouri State will get it. With another turnover. The Rebels keeping it in, but now Missouri State will have it and will get it out. Well, a couple of great chances there by UNLV. We got a whistle here for an offside.
Want to go back there to that save by Matt Griffin. Bradley Gallant with a beautiful shot in the low, right around the. And again, this time he's able to get over and make that save. And Gallant had a lot of net to shoot at there.
Yeah, if you're Missouri State, you certainly don't like to see that, and turnover on your own end, but it didn't result in anything. There we go. I guess got to make sure all the right people need to be out, and as the Rebels bring it in, Erickson gets tied up. Puck now loose, and fighting for it is Brusse, and Erickson manning with it though now. It's 9-on-9 battle. As Brusse now with it for Missouri State. Missouri State, with it is Hopkins. Feeds it to Shakes. Shakes and Lenzen trying to battle for it. It's behind the net as Missouri State trying to set up a good play here, but another save there by Wixon on the 10th shot from Missouri State. Well, 1:42 remaining in the first period. And as we said, each team with a goal. It was both pretty early in the period, but since then, no scoring. Missouri State looking to keep it in the UNLV zone. Rebels trying to bring it through. Barry gets tied up there as Missouri State there to get a handle on the puck, but the Rebels always finding themselves back in the action, which is what you want. Now Mazzullo feeds a shot, and that one does get off the padding of Griffin as the Rebels will look to get it. As DeMizio and Bacardi tied up there, and now the puck is loose, and who comes away with it? It's Missouri State's Gallant, and the puck will come out to about center ice. Now it briefly goes in the UNLV zone, but the Rebels bringing it through, and Griffin will play it and will hand it to his teammate. Bacardi able to get it out. Actually, 90 gets out, and now you have a chance here by 74. Wheatop had one of the goals for the Missouri State yesterday. And under a minute to go, 23 seconds now. As the Rebels going to look for one more chance here in the period. Wyatt though, could not get the pass to Salafalos, but Salafalos does get it back as Max Johnson sets it down, hits it off the boards. Goes behind the net as Plonsky will have to fight it, and the Rebels won't be able to keep it in, and there's going to be 5 seconds left, and I don't think they're going to be able to get anything with 2 seconds, and that will do it for the first period, as UNLV and Missouri State will go to the locker room all tied at 1. What do you think about the first, Matt?
Well, I think if you're UNLV, I think you'll take that period. Obviously, you'd prefer to be up 1-1 or 1-0 right now instead of tied 1-1 going into that half. But they controlled a lot of that period. They were really dominant, especially that line of Malone, DeMizio, and Burke. They were great. They were great in the offensive zone. They were fast on pucks. They were winning puck battles behind the net, and they got a lot of good chances, especially towards the tail end of that period. Like I said, tie is probably not the result they would love, but given how they played and knowing how they thought Missouri State was going to come out, I think they take that period.
Oh, I think you're right. And as you said, the early goal by UNLV, a power play goal by Missouri State. So let's, again, staying out of the box will be key going forward. That's it for period number 1. We'll step aside, and we'll see you in the second period, which will start shortly. Shots on goal also favoring UNLV, 14-11. Again, 1-1 the score. Stephen Marsh, Matt Atencio with you here from City National Arena. We'll talk to you in the second period. Okay, we want to welcome you back to City National Arena here in Las Vegas for UNLV Rebel Hockey. It's second period getting ready to start. Stephen Marsh filling in for Danny Lane. We got the Rebel insider Matt Atencio with us on the color commentary. And Matt, you wanted to bring up something about the penalty killing for UNLV.
Yeah, so that power play goal that they allowed in the first period is now their 5th power play goal that they've allowed in the last 4 games, which is a really big struggle because early on in the season the penalty kill was really solid, especially when a couple early games where they were taking a ton of penalties. They only gave up 1 power play goal in their first, I believe, 4 or 5 games, something like that. And now they've let in 5 in their last 4, which, again, it's a big shame because this team is dominating 5-on-5 in this game and in the last game as well. For the last 4 or so periods, they've been in control when the game has been at 5-on-5. When it's not, and when they're on the penalty kill, they're a little bit vulnerable right now. Now, again, that being said, as I mentioned before we went to break, if you're Coach McNary Greener, you're going to love that your team's tied right now. Maybe not necessarily love it, but you're happy with it. You're not sitting in there going, well, I think we could have done all of this stuff better. There's obviously a couple of things I think that they've changed now coming into this period, but the overall result was kind of what I think they were hoping for.
Right, so Alex Johnson scoring pretty early in the first period. The assist to Wyatt and Plonsky, and then a few minutes later on the power play, Missouri State tied it up with a goal by number 71, Evan Ross. The assist going to Bratton, and again, that power play goal that Matt was talking about, that the Rebels have been giving up a few of those as well. So that's where we are after 1 period as we get ready for period 2 to begin. Again, we want to thank you for joining us here on a Saturday night. Of course, we know you love to know how the hockey teams in Vegas are doing, so we want to mention that the Henderson Silver Knights won today, 4-2. WCHL score to pass along from earlier this afternoon that Arizona beat Utah this afternoon over there in Tucson, and we'll try to give you some other WCHL scores as we find out then here. Of course, the one we really worry about right now is this one between UNLV and Missouri State, as Max Johnson, takes it in, but is going to be offside the Rebels, so we'll have a whistle there. Day before Halloween, not a bad little crowd. They had a trunk or treat outside City National Arena before the game, where people could go and get some candy and do some other things. So it's good. As hopefully everybody will have a safe Halloween tomorrow night. But before that, we got this game to worry about. And of course, after tonight, the Rebels will go away for a while. Won't be back at home at City National Arena until second weekend of December. So that's even more important that the Rebels want to try to get another win here before they go on the road. Because it's never easy in the ACHA to play on the road, and especially in this WCHL, we're finding out a lot of tough environments. Of course, UNLV's had one already in Central Oklahoma, and they're going to have tough ones coming up in Utah in a couple of weeks. They're going to play in a little bit of a tournament in Chicago in a week after that. So it's going to be some tough competition ahead here. What do you think? After tonight, Rebels go on the road. What do you think about some of their road games coming up here? I know we still got this game to worry about, but just looking ahead real quickly to road games for you.
Well, road games at any college level, no matter what you're playing, are tough regardless. So it's going to be important for them to go at least 500 on this upcoming road trip, because they're not necessarily going to play themselves out of a national championship if they go a little under 500. But if they only win 2 or 3 games on this upcoming road trip, it's going to put them in a deep hole that they may not be able to climb out of.
Yeah, but exactly, and we'll worry about that when time comes. But right now we got this game to worry about as we have a save there by Wixon.
So one of the things that I kind of mentioned in the pregame is that the Rebels really needed to control the puck, be quick on zone exits, and make sure you're not giving away the puck. Right, first period they were able to do that pretty well. Right now, early through this second period, though, not really the same story. They're a little sloppy coming out of their own end. They're one and done in the offensive zone, and they're not really getting those crisp, clean passes that they had in the first period.
And just as you say that, Missouri State with an opportunity there and a save by Wixon. And we'll get another whistle as Missouri State may be starting to get some more opportunities here. They have some good. They have some fans of their team here today, and I was talking again with Cliff Cook, the assistant coach for Missouri State, and when the schedule came out for Missouri State, and they knew that they were coming to Vegas, a lot of their fans circled this trip. Of course, who doesn't want to come to Vegas, right? And it's Halloween weekend, but they have a good following and they have a good following there in Springfield, and they love to travel as well, and they have a good number of their fans here tonight. More UNLV fans, of course, but you certainly see some Missouri State sweaters in the stands here this evening. And that's a great thing. That's a great thing about the hockey at this level. You get a lot of parents, you got supporters. It's all about them because they're the ones, a lot of them are pumping the money into these programs to help them be successful and to be able to give these kids an opportunity to play some high-quality, high-level hockey, to go on these trips that these teams do and be able to compete at this level. So, of course, it's all about the people that come to the games, the parents, the supporters, and all that. And, of course, they're a big key part of hockey at this level as Burke will get it out for the Rebels. And the puck will go down behind the Missouri State. Trying to get a wraparound there. And good shot there. And Griffin had this be a save. And now we got a little bit of action here as Weetop caught up with Solofolos. Yeah. Maybe some Missouri State frustration boiling over.
Griffin kind of gets caught out there just a little bit on that chance in front. Has to dive back and makes a good save coming across the net there.
Well, the ref's saying 4-on-4, so I believe they're each going to get a couple of minutes. So that is going to be the case. So those will result in a couple of roughing penalties, I would guess. And we'll skate 4-on-4 here for 2 minutes. That's Solofolos and Weetop go into the box. So we'll get a chance to see some 4-on-4 action here, and sometimes that gives a little bit more space to work with, and we'll see what happens with that. But Rebels looking to control it in the Missouri State zone. The puck will go down behind the net. Missouri State battling with it. So now they'll lead the charge. Missouri State bringing it in. They're going to bank it off the boards, and the Rebels will get a handle on it. Gallant trying to get in there. As Missouri State breaks up that opportunity, and they'll control the puck again, once again in their own zone, and try to lead out a rush here. Missouri State brings it in. Drop pass to 88. That is Kuchtianis. Rebels get it back, though. Here's Malone. Malone going with that speed of his, going along the right side here. Malone. And a shot. And it goes through the crease, the other side, and Malone gets it on the other end. Malone all over the place here in this shift, which is made in a good way, though. He's on one end, and then he's on the other side getting the puck on the other end. Max Johnson now. As that puck goes, as Missouri State breaks up that pass, and they'll bring it out. Banks it off the boards, and they're going to ice the puck. So it'll be a whistle. 32 seconds left on the 4-on-4.
Yeah, UNLV's doing a little bit better of a job now taking care of the puck. It was pretty brutal coming out of that period, but they've seemed like they've kind of settled down a little bit.
Face off here as the Rebels control it. Shot there hits off the boards. Hits off the wall and will come out. Well, thought it came out, but it stayed in. There's 10 seconds remaining on the 4-on-4 as Missouri State will look to bring it out as they do, but then the Rebels get it back and they bring it back in. And Rebels, that puck was blocked, and Rebels Erickson has to win a race to it, and he does. Now Alec Johnson, as Solofolos brings in. Solofolos with some space, and he hits it off the netting and out of play. Well, things starting to settle in a little bit. Both teams kind of, as we've talked about, on a little bit of adrenaline in the beginning of that game. But both teams have kind of settled in, knowing the importance of the game, and things have kind of tightened up a little bit. Missouri State, though, as I say that, gets an opportunity there, but they lose a handle on it as Missoula with the hit there on 14 makes him lose his stick there. So that's actually 74. Weetop, excuse me. Weetop Shot to 90, and that one back, and again off the side of the net. We top again with the opportunity. Rebels, though, it's going to be Russa. The puck is loose, and it goes just wide of the net. A couple of good opportunities for Missouri State, but not able to put it through, and the puck will come down. And
two brutal turnovers there right in front of the net. Wixon comes up with two massive saves to keep this game tied.
And we mentioned this last night. We'll mention it again. This is the long change period, too, so you're seeing teams have to go further to make that change. .45 to go in period number 2. We'll have an offensive zone draw for the Rebels. Rebels do get a handle on it. Puck does bouncing around a little bit, but the Rebels do have it as the puck is loose and it goes around to the right side. Missouri State will settle it down as they look to break out. Almost turned the puck over. Kind of did there, but Missouri State will get it back once again. That was a turnover, and Griffin is there. But the Rebels had an opportunity there, but I believe that was Gallant with the odd opportunity.
Well, we talk about turnovers for the Rebels happening and leading to great chances, and there's one there that works in their favor. Falik, I believe, was the one that won that puck battle along the back wall and feeds it right out to Gallant in the low slot. He hammers it on net, and Griffin comes up with a big save. You know, ever since letting in that first goal, he's been really solid in net now for the Bears.
He has stopped 15 of 16 UNLV shots on goal. And now Missouri State bringing it through. Got kind of tied up on that shot there was Hopkins, and so the Rebels will get it back as Malone looks to feed it to Johnson. Max Johnson, as that one goes to the wall. And the Rebels with some possession time here as State like that hit there. They pound on the bench there supporting their teammates there. Rebels are looking to capitalize here on a chance here. Puck does come down, and Wixon out to the hash marks to play it. Turned over though is Missouri State, but loses a handle on that is Kelly. The Rebels, the one goes to Missouri State, a little bit of a ping and a pang there, but UNLV with it. It goes off a couple of legs. As the Rebels now have it down low behind the net. There's Erickson now in the left circle. Feeds it to Missoula. Missoula to Griffin with the save, and the rebound goes into the corner. Rebels with the chance. That was Erickson. Or Estrada maybe it was. And now we got a little bit of pushing and shoving there on the left side there over by the Credit One area there by the glass.
Couple good looks there for the Rebels down low. Again, I mean, Manning wins the battle down low, and they're able to keep possession of the puck. They're just not able to solve Griffin right now. My apologies.
Well, we know whoever's in net from Missouri State gives their team a very good chance to win. And the Rebels almost had a chance to put one in there, but not able to get all of that one. That one now down below behind the net. On the right corner. As Manning finds almost had an open lane to shoot at there and did get blocked off there by Missouri State. And the puck will come out as Gallant, but Mazzullo there to get to it before Gallant could get a handle on it. Mazzullo down to Barry. As now it comes back out to center ice. So Rebels, couple of Rebels collide with each other, but Estrada does have it. Estrada, and that one hits off the glass. Goes over to the right side. Down low now behind the net. As it comes out once again. That's Demizio with it. Demizio, a couple of nice moves there, get around the one defender. Demizio takes it on the ball behind the net, trying to feed it to, the puck is loose. Missouri State with it now though. Well, Demizio gets a handle on it, tries to feeds it, but hits off the glass. That was David Lenzen who had an opportunity there, and the puck will come down as Quinn and Burke and Demizio out there at the moment. Also Salafalos and Alec Johnson. Now he gets a couple of changes. Missouri State will dump it down here in the Rebel end. Wixon down, but play it behind his net. Plonsky off the glass. And that will go the length of the ice. And it will not be icing. I don't know if Missouri State thought it was going to be, but the Rebels, Alec Johnson pokes it back for the Missouri State side. And we're at 10:20 to go in period 2. Rebels now up to 23 shots, so they've gotten some looks here. As they've now up to 23 shots. A nice little check there. And now down to play it in his own end will be Alec Johnson. And they'll link the length of the ice, and that will be icing. And we're just halfway now through the period.
Well, as I mentioned, Missouri State came out pretty hot out of the gate for the second period, but ever since then, UNLV's kind of taking control back in this game. They're not turning the puck over as much anymore, especially exiting their own zone.
Missouri State winning the draw in the defensive zone. Just trying to capitalize on the icing by UNLV. Let's see how they Missouri State trying to control it here as Alec Johnson gets it back for the Rebels. Missouri State now looking to settle it down once again as they're going to try to set up a go the length of the ice here. Rebels doing a good job of pressuring it though. Well, they did get feed it to number 10, and he gets it and hits off of the deflects out of play. That was Jack Brackbill with that.
It's a good recovery by Mazzillo there, rather. Number 10 was sitting right at the blue line and then just ended up walking right in, and Mazzillo's able to get back over from the other side and get a stick on that shot.
Missouri State will get an offensive zone draw, but that one goes off the glass and will come out. Well, the Rebels, again, be careful. Missouri State trying to leave that one player over there. And here comes Missouri State. Missouri State now on the circle. Missouri State tried to feed it, but only a Rebel there to get it. And now here comes Max Johnson. Max Johnson and Wyatt and Malone coming in. And now you got Mazzillo in the action. The puck is loose again. That one is taking a little bit of a weird little hop there. Deflection, whatever you want to call it. And Wixon just going to hang on to that. Again, the day before Halloween, you don't want anything spooky to happen. So he'll hang on to it here. That puck sometimes it gives you a funny bounce or two, and you got to be aware of it. You never know. We've seen that a lot of times at every level. Oh, little strange goals come in. That first goal that UNLV scored, the only goal they scored was kind of a strange one, but again, it all counts the same. Yes, as Erickson will, or that's Estrada gets it out, and Missouri State will pick it up. Missouri State now controlling it. That's Quinn with it, but turned over as Gallant with it. Gallant tried to feed it to Cooley, the captain, and just off his stick. Cooley, and that one off his stick again, but it deflects over the net.
It's a great stick tie-up by Lenzen right there on the door stop. Stop him from getting that puck, getting all the wood on that shot.
Yeah, that was a huge play because Cooley was right there and right there near the front of the net. Certainly had a good look at it. Rebels now bringing it in. A chance here. Shot and that one just wide of the net. Oh, he almost had the goaltender beat. He just fired it wide.
It was a great move by DeMizio there at the blue line to get that puck in, and it springs them on a 2-on-1. Manning just shoots the puck wide.
Yeah, and it just should have wide. It was that close, but here comes Missouri State with a chance on a 2-on-1. Kind of almost tried to bat that like a baseball bat there, but
great recovery by Luke Burke there to get a stick on that shot.
Yeah. I don't know, a foul ball kind of thing. You know, with the World Series going on, we'll get a baseball reference in there. Rebels trying to wrap it in there, and we got a save there by Griffin. Now we get a little bit of extra stuff here after the whistle. Looks like 47's involved. Kopinski from Missouri State.
Looks like there was just a little disagreement down there.
A little disagreement. Asking him what your Halloween costume is, what you're doing after the game, all that friendly stuff. .647 left in period number 2. I think it's another one of those situations where it's going to be a 4-on-4, so it's going to be matching roughing minors, resulting on a 4-on-4 opportunity for both teams. So Jake Kopinski will sit in the box, and for the Rebels it'll be Luke Burke sitting in the box for a couple of minutes. Ooh, nice little fit there by Alec Johnson and gets tied up with Hunter Cooley. As the Rebels control it, as Alec Johnson. 91 got more of that one as Witter ended up going to the ice on that. And Alec Johnson just kind of shrugs him off. As Missouri State now bringing it down, but now we're going to see a penalty. That's going to be a penalty against 91. I think it's 91, but it's 41 for the Rebels that is slow to get up, but he is getting up and skating off. And that is Butosov. Oh, and then he goes. I guess he's well enough to kind of go after the Missouri State player that did that to him.
They need to be careful there. I know they want to stick up for their teammate like that, but they've got a 4-on-3 power play coming up right now. No sense in taking any boneheaded after the whistle penalties.
Well, stick up for your team, but yeah, absolutely. And it was the same guy that was on the bad end of that hit went trying to go after him. But yeah, you're right. You don't want to do that. But now the Rebels are going to get a power play. So it's going to be a 4-on-3, so, I mean, that opens things up a little bit. It gives you a little bit of space to work with a 4-on-3 power play.
We'll give UNLV a little bit more opportunity to try to get to that blue paint and try to get some serious offensive pressure here.
Well, you got the top unit out there. You got Johnson and you got Mazzullo, and of course Erickson's out there. Mazzullo, shot by Alec Johnson, and puck is rebounded, and it's loose in now Mazzullo in the slot. And he didn't, it was blocked, and now it comes out.
It's a big block by Hunter Cooley there. The captain gets the puck right out of the zone.
Missoula now trying to find Alec Johnson. He just didn't get all of that one. Or that was Max Johnson. Alec Johnson with this shot. And again, a save by Griffin. Get a little bit more pushing and shoving a little bit after the whistle. Well, 32 seconds left on the 4-on-3 power play, and then it becomes a 5-on-4 power play for UNLV. Talk a lot of times about key moments of the game. This would be one of those key moments, a chance to go up a goal here.
Absolutely it is. This is a very good chance for them to kind of get back on the board here. They got to find a way to get the goalie moving a little bit. He's just kind of sitting back there, and they're shooting right into him.
Oh, trying to set up that shot. That one hits off the club. The shot, and they score! Rebels capitalize on that 4-on-3 power play, and it's now 2-1 in favor of the Rebels.
Well, I mentioned that they needed to get the goaltender moving, and that's one way to do it. They hit the post on the other end. The goalie goes down. He can't recover in time, and the Rebels are able to bury that power play opportunity for their second goal of the game. Big turning point here in the game. I believe that was Max Johnson that got that goal, but I could be wrong.
We will see. We'll wait on the.
Ah, it was Mazzillo. My apologies. I saw the 6. I didn't see the 2.
Alec Johnson getting an assist, but it was Mazzillo with the goal, as you mentioned there, and also Erickson getting the other assist on that. So again, Mazzillo from Erickson and Alec Johnson, and that gives the Rebels a 2-1 lead.
Well, we talk about big moments. Getting that goal was big, but now the Rebels need to defend. They only had a lead for a short amount of time in that first period.
Well, they're going to have to defend shorthanded because I believe the Rebels are going to get a penalty. So this it's kind of eerie to the first period because there was a power play that Missouri State got. They capitalized on it, and they scored and tied it. And of course, you mentioned at the start of the period the shorthanded, the power play goals that the Rebels have been giving up to the other team. So with 4:17 to go, you're kind of getting into that later stage of the second period. You certainly would love to kill this off right here.
Yeah, we talk about big moments. This is the situation they found themselves in the first period. They get the goal to take the lead, and then they give up a power play goal. And that's one of the guys that they did not want in the box. Bradley Gallant takes the elbowing penalty there. That's massive because he's one of their best penalty killers that they have.
Well, again, I'm going to, excuse me for the baseball reference, but it is World Series time going on. In baseball, when your team goes up and run or two, your next inning, you want the pitcher to have a shutdown inning. Well, this is what they want right now. They want a shutdown inning, and that would be a penalty kill here to keep Missouri State off the board. But maybe a short-handed opportunity here as the Rebels bring it in. A shot, and Griffin, I think, gets a piece of it as he have a sprawling save is again in the crease there, and the Rebels getting some looks short-handed. So not only are they doing a good job of killing the penalty, but they had a couple of good short-handed opportunities, but now they got to get back because here comes Missouri State fast. In is Gallant. That one shrinks away. The Rebels now going to clear it down, as they can do that, of course, with no threat of icing being short-handed.
He hasn't showed up on the score sheet tonight, but Jason DiMizio is having a fantastic game tonight. He's been fast on pucks. He's creating a ton of offense in the offensive zone as well.
And sometimes you see that, a player makes a big impact on the ice. Oh, but a breakaway here. Nope, didn't quite get the breakaway. Wicks in with the save, and of course, Brackbill, all the momentum there, and he takes a little bit of a flip over the goaltender.
Very fortunate that Wixon was able to get to that puck first. That would a little bit less on that pass, and that's a clean breakaway into the zone.
Kind of reminds me some of Fleury. Sometimes Fleury can be known to be aggressive. He comes out and makes those aggressive moves, and a lot of times that's helpful. Sometimes, you know, it's a little dangerous because, you know, if you misplay or something. But Wixon, confidence in himself that he was able to get that, and he did. Yeah. Well, 15 seconds to go, and that one goes down the length of the ice. And that should just about do it for the power play with just 10 seconds remaining. Missouri State will try one more time to go up here fast. See if they can get something in the final seconds of the power play. All they do is try to wrap it around. Instead, he feeds it to Bratton. And the Rebels are going to get it cleared out, and maybe a breakaway here. As here comes Salafolos, and Griffin had to get a save on that one. And Salafolos with the breakaway. Now Missouri State trying to bring it in 2-on-2, now 3-on-2. The puck, though, didn't get. I'm going to try to feed it behind the net. Loses it for a moment. Is now Missouri State with some buzzing a little bit here. Feeding off that power play. The power play is over. Oh, that one. 15 gets it and goes behind in there. A little backhanded opportunity there.
Big reaction save right there by Wix. It looked like that puck kind of surprised him to get through the net after the deflection, but he's there with the right pad just to keep the puck out.
I mentioned again, it is Halloween Eve, so we're seeing a little bit of some spookiness with the puck a little bit here. But Wixon was ready for it, though. Missouri State, Hopkins not able to. That one can loosen the crease and the net. Now we got a whistle here as the net's going to come off for just a moment. And now a little bit of action here. And again, Alec Johnson's not somebody you want to get on his bad side. I think Shakes is finding that out. With the 1:08 remaining in period 2. We want to remind you, you can follow UNLV Hockey on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at UNLV Rebel Hockey on Twitter, at UNLV Hockey on Instagram, also UNLV Rebel Hockey on Facebook, and get the latest updates and scores and content from social media. It's going to be huge because the Rebels are going to be away from Vegas for their games for the next month, so you'll want to follow those pages to get all the Rebel content over the next month as they will be on the road after tonight. They'll be off next week. They won't have any games next week, but then the week after that they will be in Utah. And then the week after that they're in that Chicago showcase in Chicago, where found out from the head coach, Anthony Vigneri-Green, the first game in that will be against Adrian, which is a very tough team and one of the top teams in the ACHA. So UNLV is going to get some tough competition. Every game, of course, is tough, and playing in the WCHL is some of the toughest teams you'll face. Missouri State will bring it in. Rebels trying to bring it in, they score!
Big goal.
Rebels get a goal in the final minute of the period to go up 3-1, a huge goal there.
Michael Batusov gets sprung there. You can see Missouri State's trying to pinch, trying to keep the puck in the zone, but they're not able to get back in time, and he goes in all alone, and he ends up beating Matt Griffin to take a 3-1 lead for the Rebels. 37 seconds left in the period. That's a huge goal.
A huge goal in the final minute, which is not a good thing if you're Missouri State. That's the one thing you don't want to do, is give up a goal in the first minute of the period or the last minute of the period. It's typically not a good thing. And of course, UNLV getting one in the final minute of the period on the 33rd shot of the game. Well, a 2-goal lead. Batusov gets the goal, as you mentioned. So Bradley Gallant getting the assist. I mean, he coming into this game this weekend, he didn't have any points, making a lot of impact, but now he's starting to get rewarded. He had a goal last night. He has an assist in this game.
Yeah, he's had 3 points in his last 2 games. I mean, this fourth line for the Rebels has been great so far. That was a great play, as I said. Him springing Batusov straight up the ice, and he walks in all alone.
All right, we're down to the final seconds of period number 2, as the clock will run down 2 and 1, and that will do it. So the second period belongs to UNLV because they outscore Missouri State 2-0 in that period, and of course it's a 3-1 game after 2 periods of play. So a 2-goal lead for UNLV. Things are looking good, but the third period, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, the third period is going to be a huge period. We talked about weathering the storm early. Didn't really happen in the first period, but in the second period, you saw Missouri State find their legs. Not the entire period, but for moments in it, they were really putting the Rebels on their heels, but the Rebels were able to answer every time. They get that big power play goal from Hunter Mazzillo to take the lead. Then with 40 seconds, 35 seconds, somewhere in that area left in the game, they get that big goal from Batusov, and you talk about these backbreaker goals that they have. That's one of them. You never want to let up a goal in the last minute of a period, and the Rebels are able to get that big goal. Huge lead going into the third period, but as we said, still a lot of time left in this game. Anything really can happen.
And Missouri State's going to give them everything they can at them, so we'll see. We're going to see the best, I'm sure, from Missouri State as they'll want to get back in this game. But that's it for 2 periods, so we'll be back for the third period here in just a little bit from St. National Arena. UNLV leading Missouri State 3-1 after 2 periods of play. Stephen Marsh, Matt Atencio with you. We'll be back shortly for the third period. Well, welcome back to City National Arena here in Las Vegas. It's the third period here. It's UNLV Rebel Hockey on the YouTube page. We're glad you all are joining us. Stephen Marsh filling in for Dana Lane, who's away this week, and he'll be back with you in the next home game. But I'm also joined by the UNLV Hockey insider, Matt Atencio. And Matt, UNLV is up 3-1 after 2 periods. Third period is going to be critical if the Rebels want to win this game.
Yeah, you just said it. The third period is going to be absolutely critical. 2-goal lead in hockey is one of the worst leads to have just because you end up getting a little bit complacent. That's something the Rebels are not going to want to do right now. I expect to see Missouri's biggest fight that they've had in this series so far. They've kind of shown flashes of it, but there's going to be a serious push by them, and the Rebels are really going to have to play hard, and they're going to have to defend really well if they want to hold on to this 2-goal lead.
First 5 minutes, I feel, will be very key. I want to mention there's been some scoring changes, so let's mention that. On the first goal by Alec Johnson, the second assist has now been credited to Max Johnson, so that goal is Alec Johnson from Wyatt and Johnson. And then Alec Johnson getting the second assist on the third goal that UNLV scored, so on Butusov. So 2 points for Max Johnson, and Alec Johnson with a point. Mazzillo, of course, the second goal. Erickson's got a point. Gallant's got a point. So those are just some of the Rebels that have factored on the score sheet in this one. But even, what you mentioned, even Jason DeMizio's had a strong game, and he is not on the score sheet yet, but he's been strong too. So third period is now underway. And as we said, this first 5 minutes is going to be really key. Not necessarily will Missouri State will win or lose it in the first 5 minutes, but it'll be key to see what happens here as the puck will come out. And we get a whistle, 19-12, just underway here. Face-off will be in the Missouri State zone. Hunt to Mazzullo, and Griffin. A rebound is loose in the crease, but comes out free, and Missouri State does come out, as the Rebels will have to reset it. Missouri State will control it in their own zone, but the puck turned over to DeMizio. And a hard hit there by Brussa. He's been doing that a few times tonight. Oh, Brussa.
Mazzillo with a good opportunity there on that 2-on-1 for his second goal of the game tonight. Just shoots the puck wide again. Talk a little bit about Grant Smith's play tonight. My apologies. Matt Griffin in net tonight for Missouri State Bears. He's been absolutely sensational. We were talking a little bit during the break, but if he doesn't have this kind of performance tonight, this game easily could be 5, 6, 7-1 right now.
Yeah, I certainly could be. 34 shots for UNLV. They had over 40 last night, so they're getting a lot of shots to the net. And as good as your goaltender is, the more shots you get to the net, more often than not, you're going to get more in the net. Another offensive zone draw coming up here in the third period. We appreciate everybody watching and us this evening, this day before Halloween. Hope everybody's going to have a safe Halloween tomorrow. We'll get lots of candy and be safe and fun with all that you may have planned. Rebels looking to make it a nice Halloween for themselves too. If they can secure this win on the weekend, finish this 4 games that they've had over the last 2 weekends, 3-1. They split with Arizona last weekend, and if they win this game, then they'll be 2-0 this weekend and make it. And overall, they've only lost 1 game at home, so they would be 7-1 at home through 8 home games. So that's as we talk about defending home ice is important, especially since the Rebels aren't going to see a lot of home ice in the next month. As the puck will not quite come out, is now Manning with it. Puck is loose, and I was doing a good job of keeping it in. That's Lenzen. David Lenzen, who loves it down with his hand. Estrada now fighting with it behind the net with a couple of Missouri State players. Jake Kopinski turned over as here's Erickson. Erickson with the far circle. Right circle, and now Lenzen again, a shot, and that one hits off the glass. Now Quinn back at the blue line. He dumps it down behind. Is Missouri State there to retrieve it? Jake Kopinski. And the Ice Bears will get it out. But they'll get it out, but it'll be icing. So the face-off will come back down to Missouri State's end.
Well, so far so good for the Rebels here in this first period. We kind of talked about it at the beginning that they were going to need to weather a storm, and right now they've got Missouri State on their heels. They need to keep playing this way so they can kind of not let Missouri State get into a kind of an offensive rhythm here towards the end of the period.
Got a change here from Missouri State. Face-off coming. Gallant to take it for the Rebels, and he does win it, and needs it back to Missoula. Missoula, that one hits off the half wall and turned over. Missouri State not as crisp here to start this period, which is not a good sign if you're Missouri State. As we will expect to see them really start to take a lot of chances here, and that could lead to some opportunities for UNLV. They're going to take some opportunities, I'm sure, and that might result in some odd man rushes and some breakaways potentially. As the puck will come down. Here's Alec Johnson brings it in, and Frederick there gives him a little bit of a hard hit there. Frederick again hits hard on Demizio. Demizio and Frederick are tied up. Now the puck is down behind the net. Puck comes back to the point. Plonsky is shot, and that one doesn't reach the net. It hits off the wall. As puck stays in, as the Rebels control it. Alec Johnson though, and the puck. Watch out, the stick is coming right for you, Matt. Wow. You know, there's always that message in hockey games. Pucks, hockey sticks, and other objects may fly into the spectator area. Well, also could fly near the broadcast booth. It's very hard, though, because the netting is all the way around in the area there.
The netting was there. Even though that got through, that would have came right down on top of my head. That would not have felt good.
Yeah. We were almost down a color analyst here, but that is okay. The stick is fine. And we're back to a face-off here. Well, we're starting to see a little bit more hard hitting too here in this third period. This puck now comes back to the point there, blue line, as that one just fires wide. And Missouri State will get it out. Rebels trying to bring it through here. That's Quinn, but Missouri State will get it, handle on it now. As Missouri State will control it now on the left circle, or on the right circle, excuse me. Missouri State going to take it behind their net. They're going to try to set up a play. Wyatt will apply some pressure, though, just outside the crease of the netting. He takes it down, and that's going to, I think it missed what they were trying to do with it, but it goes down for icing. I'm sure that was not their intention to ice the puck like that, and so it will be a face-off back in the Missouri State zone.
Still just a little under 6 minutes played in this game, and you got to figure at a certain point, if it hasn't already, the frustration factor is going to start creeping in here for Missouri State. It's really important now more than ever that the Rebels don't give them any sort of momentum to get back in this game.
Yep, Rebels survived the first fourth of the period. First 5 minutes, they've not given up a goal. Now we're working on the second. Just take it little by, take a chunk of the period by little. Taking maybe 5 minute increments, and and see if you can keep yourself ahead. Missouri State, though, bringing it through. You know, this team is very good, and they can score fast. And so may take them one goal, and they're all of a sudden they're back in action here. There's a loose stick out on the ice, but the puck is iced. And the faceoff now will go back over the UNLV end. (3-1) is the score, 13:34 to go. Apologies, we always mention this. We don't have a score thing on our broadcast, but we do have, we'll try to give you the score as much as we can. Shots on goal, 35-22 in favor of UNLV. Rebels had over 40 last night. They're on pace for that here with 35, with still 13:23 to go. Face off down at the UNLV zone. As Alec Johnson fires that puck into the Missouri State bench. Oh, we'll get some fresh bodies from Missouri State. That's offside, yep. Puck came out. Missouri State hadn't cleared the zone before they tried to bring it back in, so that is an offsides. Another stoppage here. That's icing. Well, Missouri State doesn't think so, and it may not be. Let's see.
It was certainly close. Looked like the Missouri State player might have gotten there just a hair ahead of, but it's not what the refs saw.
Yeah, and I don't think the Missouri State coaches are very happy. That's very close there, but it will be an offensive zone draw. And when you're down two, that's things like that are really make a big difference because, they can't get it through, and the frustration I think is continuing to mount here for Missouri State. They're just not being able to get what they want, and here come the Rebels now with a chance. Here is Salafolos, but the puck goes behind him for a second. He does get it back. Salafolos feeds it to Quinn. Quinn to Burke. Puck now behind the net is Demizio. Gets a hit off of Ryan ties him up there, shakes for a moment. As Demizio not able to get it there, as Shakes has it. Now David Lenzen on the left circle. But Missouri State will get it out, and we will have to clear the zone. Rebels do look to bring it back in, and they do. David Lenzen. But Rebels getting also a change, so Missouri State now getting an opportunity here. They do get it out. And Mazzullo picks up the puck. And the puck now at the blue line. Rebel fans getting into this game with the big Rebels chant, cheering this team on. Oh, it's going to be a breakaway. It's going to be a 2-on-0 as two Missouri State players collide. Max Johnson, who wants it? Number 37, Wyatt scores. That was a matter of who wanted it. Wyatt wanted it. He gets it. And it's now a 3-goal game. Uh-oh. And now watch out here. 74 not happy. That's Weetop from Missouri State.
Just a bad break there from Missouri State. Two players collided. It sends Max Johnson and Cole Wyatt in all alone with each other. And yeah, like you said, it's just a pretty passing play in front of the net. Absolutely no chance there for Matt Griffin. But it gives the Rebels a 3-goal lead with about 10:59 remaining in the game.
Yeah, and on that play, Mark Kapkovic from Missouri State went down hard, and he's being attended to over here by the athletic trainer. For UNLV, a lot of teams don't travel on athletic trainer. They use the home team's athletics training staff, so he's being looked at right now. But yeah, the two Missouri State players collided, and Kapkovic was part of that, and that led to the 2-on-0, and Johnson and now we're gonna see what we're gonna get out of this here. Now there's gonna be some discussion here, and I don't know what. I think the discussion may be whether Missouri State gets a penalty. What you see on that, Matt, afterwards? Because it looks like some discussion now on. I don't know if they're discussing about the Oh, they're gonna switch goalies. It looks like.
Cole Wyatt picks up his 3rd goal of the season on that play as well. Johnson's going to get credited for the assist, obviously. But that was, like I said, that was just a beautiful passing play between those two, and there's no chance for the goalie to make a save on that.
Now we're got a lot of confusion here. I'm trying to figure this out here. It looks like I think they were thinking about changing the goaltender, and I think they are. 29 is leaving the ice. So they're going to bring in bring in number 30 in net, and that's Ross Jones. So Ross Jones is going to come into this game here in the 3rd period, with Missouri State losing 4-1. So this has certainly made an interesting turn here.
Still don't really think that Matt Griffin was doing too bad tonight. I mean, I know he's let in 4 goals, but he's pretty much the reason this game is not, like I said, 4, 5, 6, or 5, 6, 7, 8 to 1 right now. He's made some good saves, and I mean, again, I don't know what you want to ask a goaltender to make a save on a 2-on-0 like that.
Maybe it's just something to maybe try to spark your team. I mean, I don't know. You're down 3 goals, 10 on the road, 10:53 to go. It's really an uphill climb, but it's Rebels bring it in. Estrada, a lot of hard.
Still a lot of time left in this game, though. I know that they're up by 3 goals right now, but there's still 10 minutes left in this game. Rebels need to make sure that they're not getting a little bit too lazy with the puck right now, and they need to make sure they're keeping Missouri State on their heels. They've dominated this period thus far.
Okay, well that explains, I think, the goaltending situation there. A 10-minute misconduct was assessed to the goaltenders, Matthew Griffin, so he left. That was why he left the ice, and so that is the reason why they brought in another goaltender. So that
makes sense then.
Not anything to do with his performance, but it's a thing to do with a penalty, and so he had to leave the ice. But this series has been rough. I mean, I look over at the Missouri State bench. They are banged up again. You know, they had a couple of injuries the last night, and they're already without a lot of their guys from the night before. Not necessarily injury related, but so that's the hockey game for you, though. It's can be tough, and of course, I feel bad for them because they're gonna go on a bus ride back after this to Missouri, back to Springfield. So.
Well, UNLV went straight to the penalty kill, and then immediately after that, the captain, Hunter Cooley from Missouri State, takes a cross-checking penalty. So now we're going to play 4-on-4 for a minute 53.
So UNLV will look to pound on, and I'm not saying that to be mean, but I want to factor in now that the rankings were going to change now starting next week to a computerized ranking. And for those that are familiar with the ACHA, a lot of it has to do with goal differential, how much you win your games by, and everything like that. So those start to become factors about whether you win by 1 or whether you win by more than that. So that starts to factor in. So if you can win it, beat a team by a number of goals, it's certainly what you want to do. But it is 4-on-4 currently. And it'll be very interesting to see when the first computerized rankings come out this week where UNLV will sit. To this point, it's been a coaches poll. And as we mentioned that UNLV is ranked 11th in the most recent coaches poll. Missouri State is ranked 13th in the coaches poll, but as I mentioned, the computer takes over that starting this week. So I would expect to be some shakeup in just the way the rankings look next week. But for UNLV, that would be a good thing, I think, for them, because they've had a couple of good weekends and really a good start to the season. But both these teams will still be in the top 20, I'm sure. Missouri State's been good to this point. We're going to have a penalty here, and it's going to be against Missouri State. Rebels bringing it in. A shot in that one off the glass. Rebels, though, a delayed call coming to Missouri State. But the Rebels, goalie is pulled with the extra attacker out for the moment. Alex Johnson. David Demizio, a shot, and it's off the goaltender there. Jones. And a little bit more stuff here. And again, they're UNLV at this point. No need to, give in to what Missouri State might try to ring up here. Obviously, Missouri State probably frustrated with the way the games have gone, and maybe if they feel like some of the players have been taken down. But UNLV just needs to keep the course for the last 8:07.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time left in this game. Three goals could come in an instant in this game. I know that's not very likely, but they need to make sure that they're not giving Missouri State any sort of momentum to try to think, hey, maybe we can get back into this game, because one goal could turn into two goals turn into 3, and there you go, the game's tied. Don't want that to happen.
All right, face-off is coming. It's 4-on-4 for 2 seconds. And then the UNLV penalty will be over with, and it'll be a very short power play for the Rebels. Well, we have... Wyatt, here's Mazzullo. Mazzullo feeds it to Barry. The shot and goes behind. Erickson with it. Erickson, Barry. Missouri State gets it out. Everybody back to full strength. The UNLV player's out. Missouri State's player's out. So now back to 5-on-5 with 7:45 left in the game. And that's a penalty. And, well, that's going to be a penalty. And Missouri State going to be shorthanded yet again, as now the Rebels have surpassed 40 shots, 41 shots in this one for UNLV.
It's back-to-back 40-shot games for them. They had 41 last night. They got another 41 now, and they're going to a power play with still a lot of time left in this game.
And a power play coming for UNLV, so they're going to have a chance to add on to that. And Matt is correct on that. They had 41 that they did last night, and now they're at 41 right now, so that one's going to go down. Missouri State had 28 shots last night, and they're up to 25 right now. As Erickson, now Mazzullo at the point, feeds it to Wyatt, back to Mazzullo. Mazzullo now Alec Johnson. Mazzullo now back at the center of the shot point there, and Mazzullo now with the shot, and he hits it off the glass. That's the mark there. Mazzullo's going to get it back. Mazzullo and Wyatt. Now Alec Johnson. Alec Johnson, a shot, and it's a save by Jones. As we mentioned, Jones had his come in because the 10-minute misconduct to the goaltender for Griffin, Matthew Griffin. He had to leave, and so they brought in Jones. Didn't want to put Stevens in, as he played last night, and they'll give Jones an opportunity to get some minutes in. And Jones so far has been all right. He hasn't let up a goal, so that's okay. Rebels, a shot there. That went off Jones and goes up behind the net. Mazzullo at the point. Now Wyatt. Alec Johnson off his skate. He regains it. Now Mazzullo. Wyatt now as he brings it towards the circle. That one deflected off the glass. Back behind the net. 46 seconds remaining on the UNLV power play as Mazzullo now brings it back to the point. Mazzullo now at the blue line. Feeds it to Alec Johnson. Right in front of me here. Mazzullo now. Shot gets deflected off of a Missouri State stick and out of play. And I believe it even might have left the rink and somebody got a puck, I believe.
Well, you can kind of see the frustration now starting to come in for Missouri State, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, the Rebels are doing a really good job at defending Missouri State, especially when they get into the zone. They're not allowing Missouri State really any extended zone pressure, and that's really what's led to this kind of lopsided score right now.
6 minutes remaining in regulation. 15 seconds remaining on the power play for UNLV. The Rebels look to bring up the charge here. As Estrada and Manning, but Manning loses a handle on it, and Missouri State's Hopkins will bank it off the boards, and back to full strength now is Missouri State. As Estrada brings it in. Estrada gets around one man. Estrada shot and scores as he falls down, but he gets it up and Estrada puts it in. And the Rebels now up 5-1 with just over 5 minutes remaining in the game.
That was just a fantastic play there by Ezekiel Estrada. He walks in all alone, goes backhand, forehand, backhand, and roofs it past Ross Jones to give the Rebels a 5-1 lead.
So a goal last night for Estrada, and it's a goal here tonight for Estrada. And it's a 5-1 game. Unassisted, so it gets the unassisted goal, Ezekiel Estrada. Second goal in as many games. So we're starting to see some scoring depth of UNLV pick up here. To this point, it's been a lot of the Johnson brothers, and they've been a factor too, but it's been Max and Alec Johnson, but it's been also now starting to see people like Estrada getting a goal. You're starting to see Mazzullo getting a goal, so that's going to be a key thing for UNLV to have more contributing on the scoreboard here. Is Burke will circle that one. That's off a Missouri State stick. Puck now behind the net. And Missouri State will bring it through. And that's an easy one for Wixon as he just corrals it. And 3:59 remaining.
We've talked a lot tonight about the goalies for Missouri State. Again, even though they've let up a couple of goals, they've still played pretty well in this game. We haven't really talked about Zach Wixon, though. Wixon's had another really strong outing for the Rebels. He's made some big saves when he needed to, even though he hasn't really been tested as much as the Missouri State goalies have. But still, he's put on another solid performance for the Rebels tonight.
He has. I mean, they're high on him. Of course, Vince Benedetto, the other goaltender that UNLV has, he's great too, and they like them both. But going with a hot hand right now, and that's Zach Wixon. And he's only given up the one goal here on 26 shots. Rebels a much needed week off. Maybe some practice in there, I'm sure, but not any games next week. I'm sure that'll be much needed as they've got some players that are actually out are injured right now. Players like Nick Flanders, Daniel Fisher. They're not in the lineup, so chance for them to get healthy. Max Johnson tries to get it in there, and Mac Johnson's just like, let me get out of this area. Now back, Plonsky, and the puck does come out, and they'll have to reset here with 2:45 remaining. And we've got an icing call, 2:39 to go. Well, one thing I'm sure we won't see the goalie pulled, I'm sure, in a 5-1 game with 2:39 to go.
Yeah, I kind of got to agree with you that. I mean, you never know, though you've seen crazier things happen in games before. But
we have.
I think 5-1, I don't think there's any real reason to pull your goaltender.
Yeah.
But, again, crazier things have happened in this game, so.
Yeah. On this day before Halloween. Well, here comes the Rebels. A shot there, and Jones with the save. There's now Max Johnson. You got Feelig out there, and Lonsky and Smith out there now, and shot at the circle, and maybe see some other folks in the lineup. Missouri State puck tied up here is now you're seeing players like Feelig out there and Smith and Gallant out there just getting some looks here. Gallant trying to bring it through, and they're going to see a whistle here as he could get a little too close to the goaltender there. 1:45 remaining in regulation. So, well, this win for UNLV, should they hang on, and it certainly looks that way with a 4-goal lead with 1:45 to go. Although UNLV would go to 7-3 on the year, 6-1, or no, yeah, 6-1 at home. No, that doesn't sound. 7-1 at home.
That's a very impressive home record so far. Obviously, the one that they dropped was their third loss in a row about a week ago, but still, 7-1 at home is fantastic. But now they're going out on that big road trip. But these two wins were huge. It's great to bank, like I said earlier, it's great to bank points, and to do it against one of the best teams in the WCHL is massive.
Yeah, the Rebels will get a little bit closer in the standings for sure. As we're down to 1:30 to go. Four-on-four action. We forgot to mention that. Penalties to both teams. We're down to the final minute to go in regulation as UNLV has hit 50 shots in this game. As Missouri State with it behind the net, a couple of players tied up on the as Missouri State just, I think, has thrown in the towel here. So for UNLV, again, this is a huge series for them, and they hold serve. They win 2 games against what is the top team in the WCHL coming into the weekend, tied with Central Oklahoma in points, but Missouri State, of course, just coming off those pair of wins against Central Oklahoma. UNLV in the middle of a pack, but certainly will now be towards the top of the pack. And so the Rebels are 14 seconds away from going. For our Missouri State fans that are listening, we'll give you their schedule coming up. They're going to be at Oklahoma next weekend, the 5th and the 6th, before they return home the following weekend against Colorado State. As we mentioned, UNLV do not play games next weekend. The weekend after that, they will be at Salt Lake City Sports Complex to play the Skating Utes, who they beat here in Vegas earlier this month, including the midnight game, which was a lot of fun, but they will be in Utah, and Utah's a team that's kind of right there in the mix right now. They're a tough team, so that'll be the next opponent for UNLV in a couple of weeks from Utah. But as the time runs out, and that will do it as UNLV secures the win. A 50-shot performance by UNLV. Matt, I know you got to take off in a minute. What would you like to say about the weekend? UNLV getting both games of this weekend series against Missouri State.
Well, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. We talked about how they really needed to come away with a split of this series at a bare minimum. They're able to come away with a sweep, which I think if you had asked a lot of people around the league if they thought that was going to happen, they probably would have laughed at you and said this Missouri State team is fantastic. But you started to see a lot of the fatigue coming in this game and the frustration coming late. Either way, though, this was massive for UNLV. We keep mentioning the road trip that's coming up. They're not going to have a home game again until the middle of December. This next road trip series that they're going to have against Utah is not going to be an easy one because Utah is going to be looking for blood after the last game that they played against them.
Well, either way, it's a good win for UNLV, and it just shows them that this team is to be reckoned with as the handshake line commences at center ice. UNLV wins 5-2.
Yeah, and I think if you're Coach Vigneri Greener too, you're really happy with this performance because you knew tonight that this team was going to come in and they were going to be ready to play and they were going to give their best effort. And I don't necessarily think that they gave a bad effort, but UNLV's effort tonight was incredible, especially looking at that second line of Malone, Burke, and DeMizio. Even though they didn't get a goal tonight, they were probably the best line, and DeMizio arguably was probably their best player tonight. He doesn't show up on the score sheet, but he did so much tonight to try to generate offense for them early in that game.
3 stars of the game being announced. The number 1 star was Hunter Mazzullo. Petusov was the 2nd star, and I missed the 3rd star, but it will be up on the UNLV Twitter account shortly, so check for that. Well, that's going to do it for us this weekend. We appreciate you all tuning in this weekend. While Dana Lane was away, Stephen Marsh with you. 5-1 the final score over Missouri State. Matt Atencio, the Rebel Insider, joining us this weekend as well. Thanks, Matt, for being on as well. And next home game, as we mentioned, will be the 2nd weekend of December. That'll be against, I believe it'll be against Arizona State. I have to think about it real quick. Arizona State. But again, UNLV goes on the road. Make sure you follow UNLV online on their website, on their social media, UNLV Rebel Hockey on Twitter, UNLV Hockey on Instagram, Facebook as well. They'll have all the content for you there. And Dana should be back for the next game, and so he'll take the reins again. But thanks for tuning in this weekend, and we'll see you. Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy your Halloween tomorrow, and have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Good night.
Awesome.